Yankees are under 500 against every other team in baseball with a negative run differential. So it's just like the Yankees are barely better than the Royals and the A's, two teams that are like 50 games under 500. They are so bad on offense. Watching them try to hit the ball makes me want to jump into the Ohio River. It's just so bad, dude.
So what's
And then
what's the
like,
remedy? Like
but
what?
then it's like the clown show of everything else. It's a clown show, dude. It's a
Now,
clown
now,
show.
do you want to talk off
Like
the
Brian
field?
Cashman does nothing at the deadline. The team doesn't get any better. They don't sell to try and get better for next year. They just do nothing. And then it's like the same medicine. Here comes the train. It's like same thing they tell us every year. Well, this is the group we have, and we're confident in the group we have, and guys have underperformed, and getting Judge back and Cortez back is like really making a deadline acquisition. Bullshit, dude.
I like that though.
And
That's pretty good PR.
and then and then the Rizzo, like, dude, Rizzo's
Now,
been
what
hurt
is
two
going
months.
on with that? I mean, that
What
is.
is
We were
going
talking about that
on?
this morning at work. I mean, that's like kind of like water cooler talk. But for people that don't know, explain to them the scenario and what happened.
Okay, so from the fans' perspective, Anthony Rizzo starts the season on like an ungodly heater, is the best first baseman in baseball. Then on a back to first pickoff attempt, Fernando Tatis, for whatever reason, decides not to slide and like puts his thigh in Rizzo's like head and neck area. And literally from that day forward, Anthony Rizzo has been not just the worst first baseman, not just the worst player on the Yankees, the worst player in Major League Baseball by any metric. By any metric.
And this
And
lasted for
so
about a month.
2.5 months of
Two
the
and a half. Okay.
charade.
All right.
He's healthy. He's healthy. I feel good. He's healthy. He's healthy. He continues to bat third, continues to suck epically. Yesterday, all of a sudden, the Yankees are like, yeah, by the way, Anthony Rizzo has a concussion that stems back to when he got hit in the head by Fernando Tatis' thigh. And the entire fan base is like, we told you he had a concussion 2 months ago.
Yeah. So what do
Like,
you
it's a clown show.
what do you make of that?
I, I don't even know. I don't even know. I guess part of it, the prevailing thing is that I just hope Rizzo's going to be okay. Because concussions are nothing to mess with, like that's crazy and scary.
Yeah.
So like obviously everyone hopes that he's okay. But then my other prevailing emotion is just anger at Cashman and Boone. It's like, dude, the guy is so obviously injured. I mean, look at his performance. It's just crazy. And then the Herman thing. Look, what about Herman?
Explain that for us.
Um, Domingo Herman, the pitcher who threw a perfect game earlier this year for the Yankees, um, agreed to go to inpatient alcohol treatment
This is right up the alley for the payoff with
for
Pete.
Pete Souza
Maybe we'll have him on one day.
because Tuesday night he was like drunk and belligerent in the clubhouse. And then Wednesday, we didn't know what happened on Tuesday on Wednesday, but Wednesday we find out from the fantastic PR department that is the New York Yankees that he has a armpit issue, and that they're going to they're going to put a spot starter in. So Herman's not pitching Wednesday. He's got an armpit problem. Wait, as if it couldn't get any more dysfunctional at the highest level. Herman comes in the game as a reliever on Wednesday and throws 5 shutout innings.
And then he goes to rehab?
And then Thursday, they announced that he submitted to inpatient alcohol abuse rehab.
Now, do you know anything like just what you have?
What a clown show.
Have you read anything more about this?
New details came out today that I didn't see, that he was like flipping couches in the locker room, and he got in Boone's face, and
Aaron Boone, the coach.
They locked him in the sauna, in the team sauna, trying to get him to sweat it out.
Come on.
Which, like,
Come
isn't
on.
that terrible for? No, but dude, you would know this. Isn't that terrible for you for like alcohol, like,
I mean,
doesn't it make it worse?
that's something that you'd say, okay, well, you try that like in college or something. Like, oh, let me just
I
sweat it out.
mean, what
There's no way. Is that true?
dysfunction at the highest level?
So what's going to happen? What would you like to see happen?
What I well, I mean, Herman again. It's the same thing with Rizzo. Like
Yeah, you hope he's okay.
Herman, dude, like Herman has had such a wild ride because, like, he had the domestic violence issue and was
Uh-huh.
suspended for an entire season,
Yeah.
and then he came back and like Herman can pitch, dude. Like when he's on, he could straight up throw a no hitter anytime he gets on the mound, and he did,
Yeah,
and that was crazy.
so the New
And we
York
were like not
Post.
allowed to celebrate that because of
Yeah,
the domestic violence thing, which I totally understand.
totally.
It's just such a weird road that he's been on, and now this.
What about watching I was watching the NFL last night, the preseason. And it's the same thing and it's as a broadcaster, I'm talking to another broadcaster. You have it right. You focus on, hey, there's this is bigger than sports. It's life.
Right.
So it is interesting. And the Cleveland Browns and their fan base, they're in for that this year.
Yeah, right. Like
We-
you can't even discuss the Browns record for the 2023 season without like having to do a caveat and be like, yeah, well, Watson, we're like not supposed to wish him success,
Yeah.
And it's just a weird place to be.
I
And
thought Chris
Vermont's the same
Collinsworth,
thing, like,
he did a nice job last night.
yeah.
Did you watch it? They were zooming in on
No, but
Watson.
I saw the highlight on Twitter.
Yeah, they were zooming in on him, and Collinsworth was just like, "Hey, this is he did the disclaimer. This is way bigger than football, but we're paid to talk about football.
Right.
So here's
So I
what.
guess if I go back to the Yankees, like what I would like to have seen happen
Yeah,
is I would have liked to have seen them sell some pieces, guys that are on expiring contracts, that guys that would have had a nice return, maybe even somebody that had a year left
yeah.
to recover. I would like to see them not tank, but like just sell it all.
So they're 10
let
games
Judge,
out
let
right
Judge
now.
sit.
They're 10 games out. So
Yeah, but they're only 2.5 in the wild card, and that's what they're playing for. They're not playing for. They would
come
never
on,
play for the
and
division.
let me tell you something. Joe, average fan like me, it's August
Yeah.
4th right now. No matter
Dude,
when you're
no.
listening to it, and the Yankees are 10 games out, 2.5 of the wild card. Look, we want the Yankees in the postseason. I want the Yankees in the postseason. They will find a way to get to the postseason.
Yeah, but this is the problem, Pete. This is the problem. The problem is that this front office plays to get in the playoffs and then say like, oh well, hopefully we'll get lucky, or maybe if everything clicks in time, we'll luck our way into the World Series. Like, dude, there's no way the Astros have those conversations. Oh, just get in and then we'll luck ourselves.
Especially
to the
now
World Series.
when,
There's
so many
no
teams get
way,
in.
dude. I mean, give me a fucking break, dude.
I want to talk to you a little bit about. Oh, so I guess that's it. Anything else on the Yankees? Yeah, it's. By the way, I got to go
Judge
through.
Judge is amazing. Like Judge is just amazing. He comes in and just like I mean, they're not pitching to him. The guy walks. He hits laser beams all over the field. And he's doing it with a torn ligament.
I do want to
It's
read
just
this.
He's amazing.
As let's go back to Herman because I think it is interesting. This is the New York Post. Pitcher Domingo Herman grew belligerent in the clubhouse Tuesday and got into confrontations with members of the Yankees, even flipping over a couch and smashing a TV before seeking treatment for alcohol abuse. According to the Wall Street Journal, they reported that he appeared to be intoxicated, had confrontations with teammates and Aaron Boone. He was placed on the restricted list Wednesday by the Yankees after voluntarily submitting to inpatient treatment. But this is, and you can't, you and I are buddies. We want to joke about this, but I know how serious this is. During the incident, the pitcher reportedly flipped over a couch and smashed a TV and was held in the
must have been
sauna.
really scary what was going on.
And was held in the sauna as the team tried to get him to sweat out the alcohol. He was then placed in a team nap room as team security watched over him, but it's uncertain when he left Yankee Stadium. According
Or
to
how
SM,
he left Yankee Stadium too is what I understand.
what do you mean, like in an ambulance or something, maybe?
Whether he left, somebody picked him up, or he drove himself home,
Oh,
or how he left the stadium.
Oh gosh, really?
I mean, I'm not trying to make an insinuation. I'm just
No,
saying
no,
that
no.
like they don't know how he got home.
It's a very serious issue that affects way too many people, unfortunately. That's what Cashman said. And this was before the game. So this was after the game this happened.
No, this was after Thursday's game, they talked about it.
But when did he
Yesterday's
do it
game,
before the game?
yeah,
Oh, really?
before the game, they said that he submitted to it. So Wednesday, he pitched the five scoreless innings
Okay.
in relief against the Orioles,
After this happened on
and
Tuesday.
yep.
Wow.
And then Thursday morning or like early afternoon is when the news broke that he was going to the facility.
Man, all right. Well, we wish him the best. I mean, hey, maybe he can talk. I guarantee he's having a conversation with CC Sabathia at some point.
Dude, right? Didn't CC did that back in 2015 or 16? He did
Yeah,
it like
he's
and
still
missed the
sober. I mean,
playoffs.
and he's still sober, and he's like
CC's the man.
he carries the message. I mean, he's yeah, obviously right. All right, I want to move on.
You got to get CC on the show, dude.
I know. I'm working on it.
All right,
I
okay,
got
all
all
right.
kinds of
Moving
stuff
on.
going on in back channels. All right, stuff you don't know
You,
about.
you know people. No, no, no. You got
By the
important
way,
contacts.
so Nick and I used to work. I kind of got like ghosted. Nick and I used to work at KNOE.
What do you mean?
Well, I want to tell you. Nick and I used to work at KNOE News 10 in Monroe, Louisiana.
News 8.
News
Close.
8. Sorry.
This guy.
So I got to read you a text message, and I won't say the person's last name. So I got contacted. I was in New York City for something for work, and a young girl named Riley reached out to me with KNOE 8 News. She was doing a feature story on former anchors of KNOE. They're celebrating the 70th anniversary. She's like, "Would you want to do anything with this?" I was like, "Oh, of course."
Oh, that's cool.
So
Yeah,
hold
that's
on.
super cool.
So I said, "Absolutely." She responds, "Thank you so much. I'm excited about this. What are the best times for you?" And honestly, dude, I had so much going on. Family stuff, obviously. My brother passed away. I was stopping in New York before I had to go. I screwed up. I didn't get back to her. So she never
But
responded.
that if you don't know Pete Souza is so bad at this. But go ahead.
So, dude, I'm old. Is your dad any good at it? So,
Yes, dude. My dad's obsessed with his phone.
so it says, I responded on Wednesday, Riley, did I miss this? I can still do it. I was home for some personal stuff for a little and this got lost in the shuffle and no response. That was Wednesday.
So you ghosted her. She ghosted you back. She said, "I'll show you."
I would have
I'll
loved to have
show
been
you,
I would have
newsman.
loved to have been a part of it. Nick and I both
She
worked
should interview Morris Bart and then just say that it's you.
more. Morris Bart is an injury attorney. People know if you're listening to this in Louisiana, you probably know exactly who he is. People used to stop and be like, they would stop me. I'm like, oh, they're going to ask me if I'm the news guy. They'd be like, Morris Bart. I'd be like, no. He's got a lot more money than
Remember
me.
that time the guy T-boned you
Oh,
and you
I got out of the car. I was driving through the mall, and it was a 4-way stop. But of course, in a mall parking lot, there's no stop signs. And this accident
just
was
lawless. Mall parking lot is lawless.
so. This was not my fault. It was the day before Halloween, I think, and a guy hit me in the seat. He T-boned me. It was not my fault. And I was like, we both pulled over, and we got out of the car. And he looked at me, and he paused. I was like, dude, and he looked at me. He goes, "Hey, you the newsman." And then some guy who was with him in a flatbed truck, they had like a flatbed behind the truck. He got out, started taking stuff out of the flatbed. It was wild. So, all right, I want to talk to you a little bit about fantasy football. Have you had your draft yet?
No, I got two. I just found out my draft dates and where I am.
All right, so let's talk about fantasy football. I want to hear and I know I'm kind of jumping you with this, but talk to me.
Shocked.
Huh?
I'm shocked.
Are you ready to talk a little bit about fantasy?
I'm always ready. When you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
So, talk to me a little bit about who you think are the best players. Who should people draft? Who do people have to draft if given the opportunity? And who should people stay away with? Stayaways.
Oh, love it, love it, love
Yeah.
it. I was just listening. I've been listening to pods all morning as I drive around the city of Louisville. I feel like if you're in the top five, you kind of have like a nice leg up on the competition
Really?
because Jefferson, Chase, Cup, Eckler, and McCaffrey are like the like power five, if you will.
Okay.
So if you get the top five, those guys are there. You should take them. Choosing among them, God
Yeah.
bless you. I'm gonna have to do it, but Um, those are like the five, you know?
What? Why is Bijan? Well, I guess you know what Bijan
Dude, I
Robinson.
have no idea. This dude Bijan is like lighting up draft
But
boards and
he
like
is a beast, and he's if
you would
there's
know, dude. You're like
yeah.
you're a horns
No,
up
I
guy.
got the opportunity to watch him and play at Texas, and he's
So he's legit, legit.
the thing about Bijan Robinson is, and the way that Atlanta plans to use him, as I'm told, is like he can be the bell cow, and he gets the ball. He can handle the big time
Mm.
load. And in the NFL today, we talk about backs and durability. He's a guy that's extremely durable, and I guess that's why.
Speaking of back and durability, I think number one, stay away from. Number one, top of the list. Do not draft Alvin Kamara. Do not draft Alvin Kamara.
Who?
Gonna get who? Gonna be suspended. He is old for a running back. He's
He
at
is.
the like cliff age.
Mm-hmm.
He has two legitimate touchdown stealers. So didn't they get Jamal Williams
Yeah.
from Detroit?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's another kid, Kendre something or other.
Okay.
Yeah, there's gonna cut into his time. No, Kamara, no. T. Higgins, I'm kind of like out on where he's being drafted.
Okay.
I feel like T. Higgins is like, if you look at the board, I think he's like wide receiver 10 or 11 or 12, something like that.
Yeah.
And like that's crazy high for a guy who disappears sometimes when Chase starts going off.
Who else? Any other stayaways?
Um, Maybe Kittle. If you're
Okay.
gonna like, I mean, people love George Kittle. He had 11 touchdowns last year.
Yes.
But like, dude, but like, tight ends you can get value elsewhere. I think there are going to be 3 or 4 rookies that are really legit. I mean, I think Kincaid's going to be super good. That Meyer dude is good. One of the Packers tight ends might turn up. I mean, there are guys, and Darren Waller's with the Giants, and apparently Daniel Jones is obsessed with him.
Oh, really?
So yeah.
I like him.
So like, I don't know. I mean, like, is Kittle going to score 11 touchdowns again? I mean, if he scores 11 touchdowns again,
Yeah, I mean
that's crazy.
that would be.
I'm willing.
Is
to
he
that.
Tony
I'm willing to say that.
Gonzalez? You know.
No.
Yeah. All right. Any
So, yeah,
any sleepers?
I wouldn't say they're sleepers, but like Garrett Wilson might be wide receiver like 2 or 3 this year.
Okay.
Olave the same. Olave could be a top 5 receiver. I think a lot of the receivers have crazy high upside. Like, let's see how good Jackson Smith and Jigba is, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, how much does he cut into DK and Tyler Lockett's workload?
Who's your
I
number
think
one? Who's your number one quarterback? As I look at these lists.
Mahomes.
Okay. But like far and
the
away.
one guy, the one guy you might want that like you could get a little later down. You might want to take the flyer on Fields.
Okay. Yeah. What do you think? He still hasn't shown us anything.
No, but he just runs the shit out of the ball.
Yeah.
And in fantasy, that's super important.
Yeah.
That's like a cheat code, man. That's like a cheat code to 20-point weeks. You get a quarterback who scores a rushing touchdown and has like 90 yards on the ground.
Yeah. All right,
Dude, that's 15 points right there, minus and he hadn't even done anything in the passing game yet.
Heading into training camp, who are some of your surprises coming in this year?
Players or teams?
Teams, NFL teams that will surprise us. He's rubbing his hands together. Yeah, I'm ready. Yeah.
The Pittsburgh Steelers
boy.
are going to the AFC title game. The Pittsburgh Steelers are going to the AFC title game.
So now you have to tell me why.
Say it with me one more time.
I'm not saying that.
Steelers are going to the AFC title game.
No, now tell me why.
That's it. Offensive line is completely rebuilt to a way that makes Najee Harris most effective.
Okay.
He's still got a ton left in the tank. Kenny in year 2, another chance to learn the offense. The biggest jump in a quarterback comes from year 1 to year 2, the biggest jump in performance. There are weapons that are totally underrated and I think are going to be very good for him. And the defense is the defense. Now, of course, that's got to be provided health, but that defense healthy with the help they got at cornerback, Joey Porter, I think they move.
How do you feel about having Joey Porter?
Peterson.
How does it feel having Joey Porter Jr. on the Pittsburgh
legacy?
Steelers?
Just feels like It just
I mean,
feels
is
like
this
the
college
Pittsburgh Steelers.
football? I mean, is that not? It's
Easy.
perfect, dude.
I mean, match made in heaven.
I think it's and honestly,
Uh,
that speaks to the only in Pittsburgh, only the Steelers, right? Like
no,
that's
yeah, right,
it's a
right.
it's a
I
familial
just think,
organization.
and I think one thing that's working in the Steelers' favor is that no one is talking about the Steelers.
Yeah,
They're not the team to beat. They're not the team to, I don't know, like no one is talking about Pittsburgh, especially because everyone was talking about Pittsburgh when they had T.J. Watt when Watt was like when Watt broke the sack record and was healthy. Last year he got hurt and kind of like hurt his performance a little bit. Like Watt's kind of out of the conversation too a little bit. I think it's perfect, and everyone is obsessed with the AFC North. They love Burrow and Chase. They love that combination. Lamar signed his deal, so everybody's like, "Oh, Lamar got his weapons, got his deal. They're back." And then the Browns, you talked about it with Watson. Like everybody's in the news, but the Steelers.
yeah, but
And I think
but
that
two of those teams are in the news for very. I mean, those are good. Those are
it doesn't
good
matter.
teams.
It doesn't matter. It's just no one is talking about this team,
Yeah,
and there's a lot of talent there.
as a lifetime.
Okay,
Go ahead.
other
Yeah, okay.
surprises. Um, I mean, I like the Jets a lot. The AFC East is going to be
Now,
really
okay,
tough.
your father, huge Jet fan. I don't know if he's still is he out on them?
Used to be, right? He used to be. He's like Fireman Ed. He's out. I mean, fucking try to get Fireman Ed back.
He's out. Your dad's out on the Jets,
Nah, my dad just doesn't care, you know.
but he was a huge Jet fan.
Nah, he used to be for sure. Wayne Corbett.
Yeah.
Testaverde.
So he's out on the Jets, but what do you like about the Jets? Why are you in on the Jets as an analyst, not necessarily as a fan?
I kind of like the way that Rodgers is paying it forward and being a leader.
Yeah, that is. Yeah,
The couple clips I've seen, he's being a little more like gracious and mature than I think that he's been in years past. And the Jets are crazy talented.
hmm
Last year, had they had an average quarterback, they would have been in the AFC title game. If Rodgers really has enough to push them over, like they're really talented.
yeah. Do you like Robert Saleh as a coach?
Yes.
Yeah, you do.
That's a guy he's like the Thing from Fantastic Four. It's like running through brick walls.
Yeah,
I love people like that.
he's very
That's
hard.
like Dan Campbell. It's like Dan Campbell.
Yeah, he's very hard not to like. I think he'll be fun on Hard Knocks. The first episode's coming up here on Tuesday. I think
also
the
kind
Jets
of
will be a
think
blast.
that Seattle could be pretty good, and I think like a sneaky team that could get in a wild card, win a divisional game, and then like all of a sudden they're on the road in the NFC title game against like San Fran or Philly, and you're like, wait,
How did
this
this
team?
happen? Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
What do you're a New
totally.
York guy. What do you think about the Giants? You
I
know,
don't know, man. I don't know. They're like they have a wide receiver room full of guys that are like 5'8".
yeah,
Where is you know? So,
yeah.
but if Waller is
I
can
don't
be
think
a
he's the
stretch.
answer. Look, I love Darren Waller,
I don't know.
and the main reason I do is because honestly, he's a sober guy, and he always talks about it. And he's
Oh, he's sober. I didn't know that.
oh, you're lying. Are you lying?
No, I'm true. I'm not. I had no idea.
Oh yeah, like he is. He's very out there with it. He talks about it all the time.
Got to get him on the show.
Married. I've tried. Married Kelsey Plum in the offseason, the WNBA star
Yeah.
from the Las Vegas Aces.
He told you to buzz off, huh?
No, he he treated me like the girl from KNOE. He just
Like
ghosted
a
me.
scab, like a scab. Yeah.
It won't be the last time.
He treated you like the inflatable rat outside the Union shop, you know, outside like the place in New York.
So
Like a
he
scam.
he's looks incredible. I mean, he's got all the intangibles, but
Hmm.
I think if you look at his numbers the past couple of years, he really hasn't produced at the level anyone has expected him to, and that's why he got traded. That's why the Raiders got rid of him. So New York's a tough place to play, and although
Giants are good though.
yeah, they
Like,
are.
Giants have talent.
Yeah, do you believe Saquon will be
You
somebody?
ready for a stat? Here's a stat
Yeah,
for you.
yeah.
I'm a big stat guy these days.
Let's bring it.
No team has won the NFC East 2 years in a row since your boys did it in 2003, 2004. There's never been a repeat winner of the NFC East.
Wow, really?
So do with that what you will.
There's never been. Hold on. There's never not the
There's not been a repeat champion of the division since 0304 when y'all had T.O. and McNabb.
Wow, not even the Cowboys?
Nope.
Like in the late, really? In the early 90s or really?
No. I'm saying since 04, 03,
Gotcha.
04.
Okay,
I'm not
okay,
talking about the
okay.
90s. 03, 04.
Okay.
Since
Wow.
then, there's not been a repeat champion of the division.
Why are you trying to hex the Eagles?
I don't know. It's just saying. A lot of turnover. Not in the field department, but more in the coaching department for the Eagles. The Eagles.
What's that song they came out to? I just want to rock. Ha 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 ha. That's what it was intense when it came.
Wait, I have a great story for you.
Go ahead.
So I was
Who's
like,
who is that? Lil
4 or 5.
Uzi, right?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I was like 4 or 5 beers deep on Super Bowl Sunday at the start of the game, and
Where were you
I hit
watching?
like a family friend of ours here in their basement,
Olivia.
and yeah, one of her family friends.
Okay.
One of her family's friends invited all of us over to their basement.
Okay.
So, I hit like 4 bets in a row in the first like 9 minutes of the game. Opening kickoff for a touchback. It was like the first play call, runner pass. We hit it. Then it was something else. And then remember Sanders got in and they called him down, and then Hurts went in for the rushing touchdown.
Yes. Uh-huh.
So we hit Hurts rushing touchdown, first touchdown score. And so me and my boy John, we got up and we're doing the Uzi Vert like and nobody knew what we were doing.
Oh, that's fabulous. That's fabulous. So we
Yeah,
talked
so
about
we were up like $100 in 9 minutes, you know?
we talk about the NFC, and we talked about the Eagles. You feel like there's been turnover amongst the coaching staff, which can hurt a
Yeah,
team
don't they
like
have
that.
2 new coordinators?
They sure do. Yeah, and that's
I
what
think it's
happens.
just a little
That's what
sticky.
happened when they won the title. The quarterback coach left, coordinator left. I mean, it's something that it can really affect a football team, and we see it happen.
sure.
We see it happen really frequently. That's why I'm so hung up on the Chiefs and their ability to just continue.
It's crazy.
Mhm. Yeah,
And then you watch the quarterback show. Have you been watching that on
yeah, I
Netflix?
did. What'd you think of it?
I like it so far. I'm 3
Yeah.
episodes in.
Mahomes.
15's the best, dude.
He's
15 is the best.
He is. If folks haven't watched that, and he's a Texas Tech guy from I think White Castle or White House, Texas, and man, he's so likable.
Like, he's the most special athlete in professional sports today.
Yeah, but don't you
maybe Otani will take that, but like he just from top to bottom as a person, like his work ethic, his play on the field, like this kid, 15 is just.
What
Dude,
about
he's
him?
unreal.
When you watch those shows, the golf one behind the scenes, the tennis one behind the scenes.
I didn't peep that.
The golf one's good, and I forget the name.
Apparently,
I'm sorry.
the Formula One is sick too.
Well, that's what everybody liked. We're talking about the Netflix documentaries on these sports. But who did you off the field? What was the thing that surprised you most about these quarterbacks?
How normal he is.
How normal Mahomes is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like Mahomes could totally be the most arrogant human on earth if he wanted to be.
Yeah.
But he does not seem that way. He seems really cool, down to earth.
Well, I think
loves kicking it.
That's part of the reason he's been so successful.
You're probably right.
100%. At that position, you really, and we've seen it before, and RG3 is a great example. And there's a statue of him. I can maybe see it from here outside McLean Stadium. Or by the way, I'll be calling Week 1, Baylor and Texas State for ESPN.
You got to get your boy in there. We got to get your boy in there.
Nick, this is a little bit of breaking news. So I got.
Do tell.
For me, I got a contract from ESPN, play-by-play.
Peter.
Yeah. First one I've always done game to game. This year I've guaranteed football and basketball through the next 7 months.
Dude.
Yeah. So we're
Proud of you.
gonna keep it rocking, but it starts this college football season over at McLean Stadium. And if anybody knows my story, I was working at KFC 11 years ago, living in a halfway house
so
after I got sober.
That's awesome.
So anyways, listen to the payoff with Pete, and you can always DM me if you think you need help. Oh, outside in front of McLean Stadium, there's a statue of RG3. RG3, by the way, he's one of the best. You talk about play-by-play analyst. He's one of the best in the business.
He's pretty good, right? I like him.
I love him. So he does that as an analyst, but he's a great example. He got to Washington, had incredible success, and he, people around him. He may tell you, I'm not sure he would, but that there was something with the leadership thing that kind of felt off after his first huge year. Then he got hurt, and then it was all about him coming back, and he never was able to capture that again. And he's a great example, a Heisman Trophy winner, incredibly talented player, great man by all accounts. But when you're that young and you experience that much success, it is difficult to turn it over.
Oh my God, dude! Johnny Manziel said that he planned to take his own life in the documentary. So to your point, like this RG is not the only one.
Is that Johnny Manziel documentary up now?
Yeah. Oh, I've seen a lot of stuff on Twitter, namely this whole he bought a gun thing with the intent to take his own life.
I saw him. So I was working talent stats for this guy Justin Kutcher when we were in Monroe together, and I did a Sunday game. It was like Cincinnati, Cleveland. And it was right after he had gotten in trouble for a domestic situation with his girlfriend. Mm-hmm. And there was, I don't know if he'd gone to rehab yet or not. He went to the same rehab that I went to, Karen. But obviously he just opened up a nightclub. He's not sober. But he everybody's got their whole journey. But I saw him and his girlfriend like outside because their team stayed in the same hotel as us. Like, the night before a road game, the team stays in a hotel. And because the game was in Cincinnati, that's why. So there was just you just felt like a darkness around him. You just felt like this guy's going through it. Conversely, if you talk to anybody in this area about an experience bumping into Johnny Manziel at College Station or in College Station a couple years prior, it was like, wow, this is the guy that everybody wants to be around.
Yeah. I wonder how much having the Kansas City Chiefs number one, because it's not like Kansas City's a destination city by any means.
Yeah.
But also Andy Reid kind of saved Mahomes, and I'm just totally speculating on that. Like, and having somebody like Andy Reid,
I go back. No, there's no question. Andy Reid is an amazing man, and an amazing coach. Again, like by all accounts. But we talked about this before. You and I have specifically. I believe that there's something to those guys who are the sons of major league players. I mean, not to say that it'll be interesting to see how Joey Porter Jr. does. I really believe that there is a intangible quality that comes with being exposed to that life. When you
kind of seems a bit like maturity.
Yeah. And it's not, dude, you've seen this stuff. Your father has probably explained to you the pitfalls. Or if he hasn't explained to you, you've seen them. You had a front row seat to them. You grew up probably somebody who had a lot of exposure to that. You've been in locker rooms. You've been in these packed stadiums. You've had a primetime seat on the floor, shoot-arounds, pregame. And I think that is something that it's like I mentioned, it's just an intangible that most guys, if not all really, except for this very small percentage, have before they enter the league. I think there's something to that. Steph Curry. There's a bunch of other guys, too, that, of course, I forget right now because I'm getting old. What else did you want to talk about before you go?
I don't have to go anywhere. I'm chilling today.
Okay.
But I want to bring this back to – I'm going to make one point on Mahomes fast, and I'm going to look up this stat.
Yeah, no problem.
So Mahomes to you, just like there's no greater comparison than just like Mahomes and Steph Curry.
Yes.
In two different sports.
Yes.
Same kind of guys.
Uh-huh.
They both fit that description. Isn't it crazy just how they mirror each other to a certain extent?
Yeah. And I think I really believe there's something to that. Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, you go ahead. You go ahead.
I was saying I'm looking up this stat because I want to find NFL win totals for you because we can talk about that if you want.
All right. So I do want to.
It's a gambling podcast now.
What'd you say?
So this is a gambling podcast now.
We're still working on getting you to start your podcast here.
I would love to, dude. Little baseball action.
Come on.
What about how about picked off? Right? You like that? It's pretty good. I've been thinking about that.
That's a great name.
Yeah.
How would you want to do it?
I want to do it interview style. Really, what I want to do.
I'll tell you.
I want to sit down
and this is one like it's interview style is probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
But I would tell you that it's aggressive because you want to have compelling interviews, right? So you've
Yeah,
just
man.
got
I
to,
mean,
yeah,
it's all about the guests you get on. And I
yeah,
just don't know if I have all that time to secure guests. See,
yeah,
that's the problem.
yeah.
It's a
Uh,
full-time gig.
I'm
Full-time
looking.
gig
I'm
with a
looking now
full-time gig.
before we get to your stat about
Hmm.
father son combos. Um,
Yeah.
Cecil and Prince Fielder. That's one that I didn't
Yeah.
mention. Felipe and Moses Alou.
I saw a ridiculous stat that Prince Fielder's son is now coming through the system
Oh,
of like
really?
travel ball and play. Yeah,
Oh
it's
my
like
gosh.
whoa.
Now I feel
Yeah.
very
You
old.
think you're old, man. I remember Prince Fielder.
the
Dude, we
the
used to play that game. What was that game? Beer baseball. You play with your buddies. It's kind of like you line up things and you single, double, triple home run. Me and my
yeah,
buddy, when we used to play, we would
no
hit a
run.
home
We
run.
call it
We
no
would get
run baseball.
yeah, we would do the if we hit a home run in the game, we would do the Prince Fielder Ryan Braun celebration where it's like put it up and
Those are the best. All right, so there's a couple. Who do you think is the number one? You won't get it, but the New York Daily News has the number one combo, father son.
a father son.
Yeah, like playing like success in the big leagues.
Is it baseball?
Nope,
What? Give me the sport. Give me the sport.
hockey.
Oh, it's Brett and Bobby Hull.
Nailed it, dude. Great job. I'll give you a couple more. Cal Jr. and Billy Ripken, Calvin
Love
Hill
that.
and Grant Hill. Of course, Calvin Hill, Cowboys Super Bowl quarterback. Mike Dunleavy and Mike Dunleavy Jr. Pretty good. Rick
Hmm.
Brent and John Barry. Uh,
Okay. Rick and John
for
Barry.
some
Love
reason, I
that.
just skipped over Bus David, Buddy, and Mike Bell. I don't care about the Bells for some reason.
Yeah,
I should.
whatever. Snooze.
Bill and Luke Walton. The Bill Walton documentary is unbelievable. Again, these are the best as the New York Daily News. Gordy and Mark Howe are up there.
That's what I was gonna say at first, but then I knew
Yeah, that was a
Bobby
pretty good
Hull was
audible.
just as good. Yeah.
Race car driving fans: Lee, Richard, Kyle, and Adam Petty. Tony Dorsett and Anthony Dorsett. Anthony Dorsett was just okay. He played in the Super Bowl with the Titans. Howie and Chris Long. Here's a great one: Barry and Bobby Bonds.
Love
Ken
that.
and Ken Griffey
And Ken and
Jr.
Ken Jr.
I think I
Yeah.
said that already. Yeah, so there's
Oh, wait. Speaking of baseball and Ken Griffey Jr.,
but
have you
but
been
by the
doing
way,
Immaculate
hold on.
Grid?
You know who they have? Boone
Huh.
is up here. Your boy Boone's up here,
Ugh,
and
pass.
Bob Boone. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
You've been doing the Immaculate Grid?
What is the Immaculate Grid?
You heard about this?
No.
Oh, dude. Hold up. I'm going to show it to the camera. It's every day, it's this. And it's like you guess players that fit all of those things. So I do it every day. It's a little
Oh,
baseball brain
so
teaser.
what you're looking
Yeah,
at is a
dog.
bunch of different
It's a
logos.
nine. It's a 9 square grid, almost like a Punnett square.
Yeah.
9 by 9, 3 by 3, and so today's the columns are Nationals, Dodgers, Braves, Padres, A's, 40 homer season, and so you just have to match them up.
Nationals, Dodgers, Fred McGriff.
There you go. See, that's what I'm
Did I
saying.
get it
So
right?
so I've been. Well, it doesn't. I mean, it doesn't fit the. See how you have to get them in the square? Yeah, bro. Just look it up. Just type in
All right,
immaculate
all right, all
grid.
right. We'll look it up. Type up immaculate. What's it called? Immaculate what?
Grid.
Okay. Immaculate Grid.
All right. Here are the win totals. Here are the win totals. Let's talk about this. Ready?
Okay. NFL.
Here's how you make. Here's how you make money.
All right.
You look at shit that doesn't make no sense, and then you do the opposite,
All right.
which is what I'm gonna do.
So this is NFL.
Broncos
Now we've moved on to
and
NFL win totals.
ooh, things have changed.
All right. Let's see.
Of course it has. It annoys me. It annoys me to no end. At one point, the Seahawks, the Vikings, the Broncos, the Steelers, and the Ravens were all at 8.5 wins this year. That is, you slam that over, take your money, and move on.
Yeah.
That's crazy. They've bumped it up since. CBS just put this article out last night. So
Where are they now?
now they moved the Steelers to 9, which I would still take the over. The Ravens are 9.5. I'd probably still take the over. Saints are at 9.5 under. Like I love win totals. But that was what I was looking at. Like when they first came out 5 days ago, whatever it was Seahawks, Steelers, Vikings, Broncos, Ravens. 8.5 are the like. If you looked at me dead in the face, like Nick, the Ravens are only going to win 9 games this year.
Well, I
I'll
can't look at
smack
you
you
dead in the
upside your
face. I
head.
can't look at you dead in the face because everything's screwed up in here, camera wise.
I would smack you square in the
if,
face.
if I said who? If I said what?
The Ravens are only going to win 9 games this year. I would smack you right in the face.
It's good you're not here because I might say that.
Minnesota 8.5. Is Minnesota going to go 8-9? No way. They're too good.
Yeah, they are too good. I believe they are too good.
Big Cousins guy too, by the way.
Well, of course, you know what you are? You're a prisoner of the moment. If they did a documentary about Charles Manson and followed him around, I'm sure you'd be like, man, I'll tell you what, Manson, he's all right. You know, you should. Did you notice how he was vibing with those guys? You know, I mean, they let him out of solitary, and he seemed like he had a message to carry. You know, I don't know. A documentary's bamboozled. They bamboozle people, and I've been bamboozled. I mean, time and time again.
Bamboozled, led astray.
Well, it's true. I mean, that's why they call them now. It's more, you know, The Last Dance was what I would call a documercial, and it's the best one ever because when the subject has their hands all over it, but it still turns out incredible, that is almost never the case. When the subject has their hands on a documentary, it's usually just kind of curated and packaged in a way that it's just not quite, for me, as interesting. It's just like the biographies that I want to say read, but I don't want to lie. I'll listen to the books.
You don't read.
I do every morning, and then I stop after that because they pay me to. But no, reading.
Nice.
Reading,
you nailed that one.
Reading is the best. I'll tell you, my brother. I was talking to my sister Patty, sister-in-law, about my brother Kevin, and we were talking about. I didn't even know this about this dude. Now, this dude, like, he watched sports all the time, whatever. But he always read. He was always reading a book to try to, you know, just learn more, and manage his brain and stimulate it. Anyways, I don't do that. Now, after talking to her, I was like, man, I should.
Yeah, we can tell.
Yeah, but I listen to a lot of books, and a lot of the books I listen to are unauthorized biographies or unauthorized, you know, stories about whether it's a writer who followed a team for a season or a writer who goes back and writes all about franchises. And, you know, the best one ever, I will say, is A Season on the Brink with Bobby Knight. I mean, if you want a book to listen to and just the fascination, it's John Feinstein with the Indiana Hoosiers 85-86 season, the year before they won the championship, another championship in 86-87. It's just unbelievable. But see, Bobby Knight allowed Feinstein to be with the team the whole time. You know, not a documercial, not an authorized look at the team. Or it was authorized, but not the final version.
Wasn't he pissed, though, when the book came out?
Oh, he was really pissed. And Feinstein says the number one thing he was pissed about. And the book makes Bobby Knight, the general, one of the greatest coaches of all time, look like he acts like a toddler would act, like probably 50% of the book. Another 50% of the book, it's just unbelievable, inspiring, and awe-inspiring, really, behavior that moves his team to win. And there's a lot of bully in there too, right? But his number one problem with the book when it came out was he said he didn't swear as much. He was like, he saw it and he was like, I don't swear that much. Yeah, and then he stopped talking.
I beat this kid on the court, but yeah, God forbid.
He stopped talking to Feinstein for like a couple years or 4 or 5 years, but then they came back around. But anyways, I loved unauthorized biographies or unauthorized documentaries. I just think that they're the best, you know.
Pete, so tell me this: you've been doing a lot of question asking over the past 45 minutes.
Yeah.
What are your hot takes? Give me. I feel like we need to know what the Sue's dog thinks about. Give us. We're in training camp. Hall of Fame game.
Yeah.
Last night.
I mean, okay, I'll tell you this.
Give us a couple bold predictions.
I'm not going to sit here and act like, you know, I call the games. I have a vast amount of knowledge on the teams, which I'm, you know, broadcasting and covering at that time. So I'm not sitting here like, honestly, you have a wealth of information and knowledge about pro sports. I will tell you this. Mm-hmm. Football season is something that is just so special to me. I mean, the Hall of Fame, and I am somebody who, I'm a sports nerd, but I try to stay away from like being like an authority or an insider. When August hits, I mean, when July 22nd hits, and I know that that's always been my mark in my brain, like, oh, teams are back in training camp. There's something that is, and you and I lived. I mean, you're in Louisville now, which is a little nicer. I'm talking climate wise, but you're in the Southwest in the dog days of summer, whether it's Louisiana or Texas or, woo. But you hit late July, and these guys start showing up to training camps, and you see them on fields wearing helmets, and something happens to me, and it is the greatest feeling. I mean, it is the beginning of my holiday season because it doesn't end until the NBA playoffs. February. Yeah, well, no, that's the NFL, but the whole thing. Let's face it. There's no matter what we've tried to do in sports, and you're a huge baseball guy, but like there is after the NBA finals end, for me, middle of June till you get the draft, but then you get to July, late July, and it's just bananas. I love it.
There is nothing like when October 1st rolls around.
Yeah.
And it's like you can go all day.
Yeah.
You got the noon kickoff. Gus Johnson is screaming in your ear.
It's unbelievable.
And then you go you ride the college games into like an NBA, like first week of the regular season. And then it's like 10 o'clock that night is the Dodger game. Oh. Dodgers are on in the NLDS.
Oh my gosh, that is you're talking about.
Then you just wake up Sunday morning, get that cup of coffee in you, and then it's like 1 p.m. kickoff. You get to watch the fucking Jets and the Lions. Just like,
all right, you mentioned the Jets.
There's nothing better, dude.
And that goes back.
Nothing better than that time of year.
That goes back to the answer of your question. I didn't want to, because I was asking the questions, and I didn't want to defecate all over your parade for Aaron Rodgers. And a guy who I would consider my friend is the general manager of the Jets, Joe Douglas.
Oh, that's right, your boy.
I wouldn't call him my boy, but he's certainly a friend. Football at Richmond, just when you're around somebody for 4 years like that, Douglas, you'd almost say he's family, like not somebody you talk to all the time, but I love Joe Douglas. I worry about Aaron Rodgers and the Jets. It's all kumbaya now. Everybody.
Of course you worry. But what if they start 1-4, right?
That's what I'm saying. And here's the thing. This is New York. Now, Aaron Rodgers, it comes to the point the way that sports are covered today that it doesn't matter where you are. He was besieged with media, especially in Green Bay. It's the only game in a long ways when you look at the map. The Packers they're it. So the coverage is enormous. But when things start to turn, and I'm not saying Aaron Rodgers will implode, but I think the fan base and the media could possibly implode. And I think now where we're talking, wow, look at this guy. He's taking less money. I love seeing this leadership aspect. I'm saying the guy he's close to out of gas.
Maybe.
Maybe. Like it's what's going to be the year? When's it going to be the year? And this could very well be the year. He's 35. No, how old is he? Let's see. He's born
38.
He's 39.
Yeah.
I mean, dude. So here's the thing.
Didn't he just sign like a 2-year extension too with the Jets?
Yeah. He's 39.
Wild stuff.
Look, Father Time is undefeated. And so you asked me what my hot take is. That's my hot take, that Aaron Rodgers is a disappointment.
Just stinks?
No, I just think he's going to be, he's just not going to be what they need. Because I think that he's physically depleted because 39 is 39. I mean, I'm 46. And honestly, I didn't really start to feel my age till I was probably like 42. But I mean,
you don't look a day over 40.
Yeah, okay. But no, really, because I stay active. And now I've lost that, punch sort of energy wise.
Okay.
And so, now comparing myself to Aaron Rodgers is the most ludicrous thing in the world. But what I'm saying is, at some point in your 40s, you hit that wall, no matter how well you take care of yourself. And at some point, it's going to start to show on the field. I mean, we've seen some of that. I'll be interested, and here's my question for you, if you want to combat this theory. Do the Jets have enough talent around Aaron Rodgers and a good enough defense where now he can step in and be somewhat of a caretaker, similar to Peyton Manning with the Broncos. Where it's like, I mean,
Totally.
that was the biggest joke of all time. I mean, Peyton Manning's one of the best quarterbacks of all time, but like his arm was not very good in that
He was
Super Bowl.
shot. He
He
was
was shot.
shot.
And you'd get Collinsworth like, oh, there he is, Al. You saw it right there. Peyton Manning, when he has to make the throws, he'll make them. And it was like what it
Now
was. It
here's
was
the
like
guy.
it was a duck that just kind of floated through the air. And like, it was like, if anybody else threw that pass, they'd be like, oh my God, this guy's shot, get him off the field.
Yeah, but the thing is with that was that when Manning still lit it up. Like Manning broke the passing touchdown record with the Broncos
Yes.
before his arm turned into a noodle.
Yeah.
So I mean, I don't think the Jets have what it takes to literally carry a grandfather across the goal line,
Yeah.
but I don't think Rodgers needs to be superhuman to win there.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I'm asking. I mean, is the team, because we've seen, I mean,
They are
again,
talented as hell.
yeah, and maybe that's look. Nobody's pulling for him more than I am because I want to see Joe Douglas do well and I want to see the Jets win. I do like that the guy from gosh, his name has escaped me right now. He was a standout here at
Old man
Baylor.
brain.
He was a standout here at Baylor, and he's been troubled since he went to the Jets. And I'm pretty sure they just released him. Hold on, you looking too?
Yeah, I'll do a double look with you. Uh,
Denzel Mims.
Mims, yeah.
And so he's a guy it has not worked out there for him and the Jets. I want to see, was he released? Again, I apologize, folks. But I think it's one of
Yeah,
those.
Lions.
So he was released and the Lions picked him up. Okay. So that's my point. I think the Jets are doing a pretty good job of, okay, this doesn't work. Denzel
Yeah.
Mims is not a fit here. And they stopped trying to force the fit and they let him go. Or maybe they traded him. Did they trade him?
I don't remember.
He was drafted. Okay, go. So he's with the Lions. Yeah. So fresh start. They let him go. They released him. So here's my point. I feel like Dave Aranda said this because I'm prepping for the first Baylor game, and I heard him say this the other day. And this is and actually came up in a conversation. I was talking to a buddy of mine about relationships with the opposite sex, with women. Like you can't and Dave Aranda said the thing he's learned as head coach at Baylor, 2020 was a disaster for Baylor, but COVID, Aranda's first year, the second year they go to the Sugar Bowl and win it. So they come into last year riding
What's his
high.
face, the quarterback?
Yeah, well, Blake Shapen. And now Shapen's back. It's just last year what you could say a bit of a disappointment, and they talked about that there was maturity issues. The guys who really guided the team and ran the locker room in that season when they won the Sugar Bowl, they were gone. They moved on. So Aranda said, one of the things he's learned, and he is an incredible. I mean, just YouTube Dave Aranda if you're watching and listen to a press
I'm
conference.
big a Dave Aranda guy.
Oh.
LSU's DC.
He is just unbelievable. Again, I keep talking about my brother.
He won the title with LSU, right?
Yeah,
when,
yeah.
When
Yeah,
okay,
it's hilarious too because nobody could be more different than Coach Yo, Ed Orgeron,
right?
and Dave Aranda. But they're still good friends. That's what I love about sports and football and all that stuff. It brings these
At
people
one
together.
point, I think Dave Aranda was the highest paid coordinator in the country.
Yes, he was, and his son, Ed Orgeron's son, is now on Baylor staff. I just
Isn't
heard.
that funny?
I just heard Aranda mention that. But anyways, Aranda said one of the things he's learned over the course of being a college head football coach is like you just can't force it. Like you've got to let people go, and you've got to let some of the best people go, and some of the best. I'm talking about athletes, but if they don't fit, and Baylor is a specific fit sometimes. If you don't fit there, like you got to go. Or you can go, right? Guy transfer,
Yeah.
And that's the same thing. I think the Jets, when you see actions like, okay, Denzel Mims exit stage right, and that's by no means was he a glaring reason why the Jets, but that's an example. We saw the stuff last year with Zach Wilson, just kind of like, what are we doing here? There's no leadership on the field for this team. And now
let's not make it sound either, too, like Aaron Rodgers is he's never been the model of leadership with his teammates, like he's never been known for being the guy to bring the rest of the team along. So seeing
You
that
don't think so?
kumbaya, no,
Okay. You,
certainly not.
I
I
think
mean, but that's why I think the whole kumbaya thing is really interesting with the Jets because it's like, well, maybe he is trying to
yeah.
actively force that leadership role, and maybe it works.
See, I don't believe he's ever been a problem in the locker room and with his
I'm not
teammates.
saying he's a problem.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's not a guy that's going to like carry the flag and lead the team to the mountaintop and plant the flag there, being like, yeah,
Well, he
where
needs
everyone's
to
coming
this
with
year. If
me.
that's the role that I see him taking on if this team's going to win, because I don't think that he has just the skill set that people are
Yeah,
anticipating or looking forward to. How many times? And again, it's another thing I'd have to look up. It's just we've seen these great players with incredible name recognition and careers, go to
mm,
different teams, and it's just like that's when they hit the wall. At some point, you hit the wall. All of
yeah,
us, right?
yeah.
Except for Tom Brady. He hit it last year, though. That was sort of pathetic at the end of last year. All right, let
Yeah,
me.
that was awful.
Does Tom Brady come back?
No,
Does Joe
God, no.
Biden get
Even if I,
reelected? No, don't.
oh,
That's not. We're not talking about that. All right, Nick,
it
we got
gives
to
me a
wrap it up.
bother.
We got to wrap it up because we've had to hit the hour.
All
Eh,
right, here we go. I'll give it to you. I'll
okay.
wrap it up like this.
All
We
right.
got a World Series predict. We'll both give one. We'll give a Super Bowl prediction.
All right. Let's go.
All right, so I'll start with
Just you.
baseball.
You're on both of these. Go ahead.
Why? I need you to
All
indulge
right.
me.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, so I originally said that it was going to be Rangers and Rays and the Braves,
Yes.
right?
My
Um,
Rangers now.
the Rays are in trouble. The Rays are losing arms fast. McClanahan just went down yesterday. So let's go Rangers Braves. Okay.
Rangers
So
Braves, huh?
I'll stay with basically the original pick, but I think the Rays are toast. I think Rays are completely toast.
All right. I got mine.
Okay.
Dodgers O's. How do you like
Love
that?
the O's.
I
Love the
love the
O's.
O's, and I wonder. I guess it was 10 years ago, so that was a while ago now.
They're a
But
little frisky.
they are
The O's
Frisky's
are
not, dude.
frisky.
Literally, they got 67 wins.
They're a good team.
They're a
Hmm.
very good team.
They got problems in the starting rotation, but I don't know. We'll see.
And then in the Super Bowl, who do you have?
Um, I don't want to do it, but like, don't you feel like we have to go Chiefs Niners, right? Like, don't we have to do that?
No, we don't.
Um, who's the NFC is just putrid outside of the Eagles and the Niners. I mean, it is putrid. Um, let's throw a fun one in there, and we'll go Minnesota because I think they can do it. Minnesota and the winner of the AFC North.
The Minnesota Vikings are
Yes.
40-1 to win the Super Bowl.
Well, if we're not going to do Chiefs Niners, we're going to do Minnesota and the winner of the AFC North.
You just went from a Chiefs scenario of the NFC, a 6-1 team, and you fell off a cliff, and now you're going to
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota, which I like. Okay.
Like Joe Biden had that one clip. Minnesota. We're going to do Minnesota and the winner of the North. So I know that really opens me up, but like I think the winner of the North could be like a 13-4 kind of team.
The AFC North. So of course you're trying to get the Steelers in there.
No, I think it's actually going to be the Ravens, but I didn't want to say the Ravens because that's going to turn my tongue black.
I have the Eagles and the Bengals. I think, and there's two reasons why. Quarterback play.
I think the Bengals suck eggs this year.
No, I think, and this is the opposite of what I was talking about with Aaron Rodgers. Joe Burrow is going to be Aaron Rodgers like 2012. Like, I feel like I'm Gucci Man in 2006. That's what he's. That's what he. That's what he's going to say, dude.
Did you see Gucci Mane
I feel like
on
I'm
Twitter?
Aaron Rodgers in 2012. It makes no sense.
He put a
Yeah.
he put a Gucci Mane put a mixtape out called Woppenheimer because of the Oppenheimer movie.
So I was listening to that stuff on the way over here, man. Man,
It's
some
so
of that
good.
music is awesome. I mean, I gotta say, I love it. When I work out, like we were talking about little Uzi, I was listening to that today. It gets
That
me
was so
fired
good.
up. All right, Nick, when are you going to do a podcast here at Rogue Media Network?
Sooner as opposed to later.
Are you going to get in touch with Mike Hamilton? And Mike
yes.
Hamilton is ready to go.
Yeah, Nick, when are you going to do that?
You hear that?
I know.
That's the Podfather.
I'm not gonna lie. I am a bit nervous about actually finding guests. I'm not nervous about recording it and finding time to do that. I'm nervous about finding the guests.
That's a healthy fear.
That's a healthy fear. Because I know that it's going to be me having to do the reaching out.
Could you do it solo?
It'd be tough. I worry about finding guests like routinely enough to actually have the content. But I feel like once I get in the saddle and we actually conduct that interview, it's going to be gas.
I believe so too. Well,
I think I know enough about baseball to really push some of the guys, but also I'm a fun guy.
Dude, honestly, Nick, you are such a talent. I mean, you are such a talent. And
wait, Pete, I won an Emmy. Did you hear that?
Oh, yeah. Tell the folks. I saw it. I congratulated you.
Yeah, so I won an Emmy, a regional Emmy, an Ohio Valley Emmy for my writing composite. So I had to submit a 5-story composite, no more than 15 minutes, and I had to submit the script and the video component. So that this is the funny shit, dude. So I didn't go to the ceremony on Saturday because I had such a sour taste in my mouth from losing last year. I drove to Columbus. I lost.
Stop. That's why you didn't go?
Swear on my mother. And I didn't want to pay the money, and I didn't want to go because I had a sour taste in my mouth. So we're hanging out at Olivia's mom's pool, and I was smoking a Monte Cristo Cuban and drinking Russell Reserve 13 year, which is a really good bourbon. And my phone starts blowing up. It's like 25 after 8. And it was the news director of one of the competitive stations that not the one I worked at, but a different one, who just texted me, time to come back to news. And that's how I knew I had won an Emmy. And I just wrote her back, hell nah.
Nick was an incredible journalist and reporter all over the country, but specifically in Louisville most recently. And he just won an Emmy for his work. And he walked away from the business. How long ago now?
Almost 6 months, dude.
Yeah, well.
Yeah, the end of August will be 6 months.
I think it's a real shame. And that Emmy speaks to not only your skills, but your nose for stories, right? I mean, I always say you're the son of a New York cop. That's impressive.
Yeah. I got so now that makes me an Emmy award winning and a Murrow award winning writer.
Dude, that's
not that matters worth of shit, but
I think it does.
Hey, it's cool. I mean, it's cool, but it doesn't get you paid.
Not yet, but it will.
Maybe one day.
All right, I love you, Nikki.
This has been a Rogue Media Network production.